Good morning, Algebra 2 people. Um, Today starts the day of our last unit, and it's going to be a mini unit on the following topics: bias, population samples, what it means to do a convenient sample versus a random one, mean, median, mode, quartiles, box plots, histograms, and standard deviation. Have you heard statements like the ones below? 81% of public school students are not satisfied with the food provided by their schools. The president has an approval rating of 72%. And then, of course, all the things about COVID-19. How do news sources get this information? Do they ask every single person what they think of the president? What questions do they ask? How reliable are their results? And can you believe everything that they're saying? In this chapter, and we will not get through the whole chapter by the end of May, but as far as we get, we will learn some of the methods used by statisticians to justify claims such as these. And you can actually investigate your own questions. I will not be requiring that of you. So this is a snapshot out of CPM, but I just took it and borrowed it here. Before we get into how we get this information, we have to look at what it takes to create a bias-free survey with bias-free questions. And we'll also categorize the questions as either open or closed. So bias. Bias is something that influences a study so that it favors a certain outcome, so that I'm kind of like forcing people to say yes or no. So here's an example of a question that has bias. Do you support the governor's education plan that ensures that students will be more successful in school? Every reasonable person is going to answer yes, because who would not want somebody to be successful? Who would want people to be unsuccessful? So I'm kind of forcing people to say yes here, and that they would support the governor's plan. A better question would be, do you support the governor's education plan? So I'm not swaying you one way or another by using all those extra words like being more successful and things like that. So trying to remove some of the adjectives that are in there. Here's another example. Does the frequent occurrence of brutal violence in movies and video games have a negative effect on the young people exposed to them? Again, you can see all the adjectives that are in there is causing this question to have a lot of bias, because it's trying to get you to say yes. Words like brutal and frequent could lead to certain outcomes in the study. A better way to write this question so there is minimal bias in it or no bias in it would be to say, does the occurrence of violence in movies and video games affect the people exposed to them? Here's one for you to try. The first question here has a statement in front of it that's telling you that in order to stay healthy, you need moderate exercise. And then immediately after, I ask you if you exercise regularly. So that question has bias. An unbiased version would be, do you exercise regularly? That's it. I'm not going to give them any scientific facts on whether or not you should exercise. The second example, is the movie rating system effective? This is a very good question. There's not a lot of adjectives in here. So this one does not have bias. It's a good, straightforward question. All right, last thing we're going to talk about today is the two question types. Questions can either be open, like this one, what's your favorite way to exercise? Or closed, like this one, which of the following ways to exercise do you prefer? And they have a choice: running, swimming, team sports, dancing, or skiing. Both of these have pros and cons. So like the closed question, if I didn't like any of those, but I still exercise, I can't answer the question, right? I have to pick one or none of them. The one up above, what is your favorite way to exercise? Somebody could put swimming, somebody could put jumping in the lake, and maybe those are the same kinds of things. Somebody could put, I don't know, a doggy paddle, which is still a type of swimming. So I could answer that question 3 different ways, and all of those people might be talking about the same thing. So both questions have pros and cons. There's really no good. This is just about you trying to tell which one's open and which one's closed. And here's an example for you. Hopefully you can see that this is pretty straightforward. So this top one here, because I'm giving them all the choices, that's called a closed question. They have to choose one of them. And the one down here about what is your favorite animal, that is an open question. So any type of response works there. That's it for today. Very simple concept. Probably feels more like an English class today. As we continue on in the chapter, you will see more and more math type things. So again, go take the quiz, get the 80 or higher on it. A lot of you are taking it until you get the 100. That is outstanding. Way to persevere and be determined to give your best. Thank you. Have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.